Hi there, Dr.Sue. How are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Fine. I was just adjusting the 4G because the electricity just went off.
It's okay. I think mine has frozen too. Let's see if we can get it back. I think it should be working now. What is this? Okay, I think it's working now. Is the camera is moving? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's moving.
Okay, good. Okay, just give me a tiny second. You know what? I'll leave this. Okay, so
How was your Eid?
good. It was good.
Meat.
It involved meat and not a lot of English, which is a bit of a break. So it wasn't bad. I can't complain. What about you?
I was a multitasking person the last 4 days, so a lot of things. I sent my paper to the supervisor. I should have handed it over, but she said, okay, it's by email because of the حضروا. So yeah, I got rid of that. That was a relief. Yeah, and I was doing IELTS practicing. I was doing reading. So yeah, enjoying mine.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's good. Okay, so let's get back to our topic. I think the last thing we talked about, the last thing we covered was let's see. I think we talked about task achievements in some detail, and we also talked about vocab. We talked about the lexical resources. Okay, let's just switch on the share screen so you can see. Okay. So we covered this one, the planning part. We talked about the importance of planning, question analysis, how to tell the difference between the topic words and the micro words, which you need to cover, in addition to the instruction words. So this is sort of planning part, and then after that you need to do some brainstorming, some idea generation, and then we talked a little bit about the structure. We still didn't cover this part yet. And then we have some types of essay. We'll talk a little bit about these as well. We have also vocab. So we covered this one, we finished this one. And we also have lexic, we finished this one as well. Vocab, the importance of good vocabulary to boost your lexical resources. We also saw the difference between two paragraphs, which are the same thing, talking about the same thing, but the difference in vocab range made a huge difference. The choice of words, the style, all the details, the tone, the register, everything made a huge impact, making the first one a lot worse than the second one. What else did we talk about? We talked about the average. We covered this. Average students. I think this is a bit of a sort of just general problems for. I don't think this is very relevant to us. And the last thing I think we talked about was advanced grammar, if you remember.
Yeah, the defining and non-defining.
Yeah, non-defining clauses, defining clauses. There's a great grammar book, similar to the one I sent you, but grammar, not vocab. There's the book I have has some kind of problem with the file, but I'm planning on downloading it or finding another copy of it, and I'll also send it to, and I'll also send it to you like the first one. This book is really, really good if you want to sort of boost your grammar. Where is it? Let's look for it. Yeah, complexity. If you want to boost your grammar, your advanced grammar, it's very good. It starts with a great test. It's a bit like a placement test, but the purpose of the test is to show you where are you deficient, where are the problems in your grammar, and then it will sort of direct you to the unit where you need to work. So it's really, really good. I used it a lot and it made a huge difference. Okay, so let's very quickly, as quick as possible, try to review or sort of summarize. Okay, you do the summarizing part. You tell me, yeah, you tell me what you got from this part, or from what you got from this lesson, and I'll scroll down as you talk.
The previous lesson?
Yeah, the last one, the one about clauses and defining, non-defining, complex sentences, how we can make complex sentences, and all those details. You tell me.
I don't know how I'm going to explain it. I'm not good at explaining in English.
Okay, here you go. You have this screen in front of you. Just summarize it.
Where are we going to start? So there are two types of clauses, like independent and dependent in a sentence. So like the independent clauses, like it can be in a sense on their own, and they don't need the dependent clauses.
Correct.
The dependent. What?
No, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the dependent clauses needs the independent clauses to form a sentence, I think.
Correct. And when they're both
sense out of it. Yeah.
And when they're both together, what do they make?
Do they make a sensible, make sense out of the sentence? They're connecting together, not.
Okay, but what kind of sentence do they make when they come together?
I don't know. What? Complex. Oh yeah. Okay.
The whole purpose of, you forgot the whole purpose of the lesson.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, this is the whole purpose of putting them together. The moment you combine them, because this is what they're looking for. The marker, the examiner, when they're marking and they're checking the type of grammar and your grammatical accuracy and your range and your sentences, your phrases and structures, this is on the top of their list. They will be looking for complex sentences. The variation complex sentences, can you use more than one type? Are you using it correctly? Are you using them in the right place? So all of these are crucial in order to get a 7 or above in grammatical accuracy, in the descriptive grammatical accuracy. Because remember, we have 4. We have TA, task achievement, but then we have vocabulary range, lexical resources, coherence and cohesion is the second one, of course. The third one is your vocab range, which is called lexical resources. The last one is grammatical accuracy. So this is relevant to grammatical accuracy. You need to boost this. You need to learn how to use dependent and independent clauses and how to use them together to make complex sentences. And despite the name complex sentences, they're not really that complex to make. Because what you really need to know how to use is these conjunctions. If you know how to use them correctly, you're in the safe zone. You're in the you're on the safe side of history, the right side of history. Such a silly expression. Anyways, so here these are some examples. Sorry, let me just zoom out a little bit so we can see them all together. Of course, we have the ones on the right. These are the ones which are for relative pronouns. So for defining, non-defining, that family, you will need to use these pronouns. And these are, by the way, like we said, they're pretty common, so you will need to use them one way or another. So why not master them and just use them correctly? And then you have all these others, including contrast, like although, even though, despite the fact, in spite. Then you have conditionals with if, provided. This is also a type of conditional. And this one is a very interesting conditional, by the way. Can you make a sentence using provided?
Mm-hmm.
The tip is, I'll give you a hint. It's a conditional word, or a conditional tool, or a conditional conjunction. Use it as if you're using if, in a way.
If.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Oh, I think. I don't, just wait. I don't know. Just a sentence. It's just nonsense. Okay, it's not going to be like. Okay, like the school provided a laptop, an iPad or something for each student, so they could to make it easy for them to learn some new technical, something new on, I know what it means though, like in a sentence, but I just can't get it right now.
Actually, the way they mean it here, it's unrelated to what you said. So because
really?
Here, no, here they don't want it in the sense of provide to give. No.
Oh.
So here, provided is used in formal sentences like the if conditional, like if. So for example, he will.
So if the company provided.
No. It's instead of if, it's a substitute for if. I'll give you an example. So you can say Mike can pass this semester if he hands out his or if he completes his thesis on time. So Mike will pass this semester if he completes his thesis on time. This is a type 1. Is it? I think it's type 1. Okay, so he'll pass if he finishes. Now I could change it and I could say Michael will pass the test, will pass this semester, provided he finishes the thesis on time. Do you get the idea?
I see.
So it's used in a way similar to if. And actually, I'll show you. I have a little exercise since I downloaded that book, the one about vocabulary. Did you check it, by the way?
Yeah, I did. I started with the architecture, the first unit.
Yeah.
Lots of new vocabularies. Yeah.
It's full of new vocab. But let me take you to the conditional lesson. So the conditional is phrasal verbs, emphasis, contrast, condition. So here it is. Let's go to condition. Do you see this one? You see the first example, the first two. Can you read it?
Yeah. You can borrow my dictionary. Just a minute. If you return it before you go home, providing that. You can borrow my dictionary, providing that you return it before you go home.
And you can use it as provided.
I should get my assignment finished this weekend. I have enough time, provided that I have enough time.
That's it. All right. You can also use here they're sort of telling you that you don't need to just use the vanilla if. Be colorful. Use other ones. Use more formal ones. Of course, this will boost your grammatical accuracy. I think it's more with lexical resources than grammatical accuracy, but it's definitely an indicator that you're a very strong candidate if you can control expressions like provided that, providing that, unless, on condition that, as long as, no matter however many, wherever. Do you see? There are so many different ways. Instead of just saying if, you're basically working on the same point. It's also conditional. All of these are used in conditional clauses or to show condition or to illustrate condition. But you don't need to use if. This is the idea. All right. So this means if you use it correctly, it's a 2-in-1. You've got a bird. You've got 2 birds with 1 stone, because you've made a complex sentence. So this is good for your grammatical accuracy, and you've used an advanced or an uncommon substitute or synonym for if. So you'll also boost your lexical resources. And if your grammar is good and your lexical resources are good, usually the coherence and cohesion are usually good too. They're more of a result of the first 2. You get the idea?
Yes.
So it's a good thing if you can handle this. So that's why
I'll check them. You told me because to check the second half of the book, so
no, I did.
I'll check the beginning as well. Yeah, I'll check the beginning.
Yeah. If I were you, I would do it from cover to cover, to be honest. Because,
I will.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I have time.
Yeah, you should, because the good thing about these things is, well, if you do it once and you do it thoroughly once, it usually sticks with you. It stays. And even if you sort of forget a few things, they usually come back instantly the moment you see them again. So it's worth putting that first that annoying first time read. It's worth putting the hours, but you'll reap the benefits afterwards. All right, so this is provided. Just a side note on provided. So all of these conjunctions, in addition to the relative pronouns, are crucial tools that will help you link or glue together your independent clause with the dependent clause. And this way you'll have a nice complex sentence. So this is what we covered yesterday. And all of this naturally will boost your grammatical accuracy scripter. And we talked about the different sentences, and for us, this is the only one that really matters in IELTS writing, because you're declaring facts or you're stating your opinion. So this is the only real type of sentence we need actually in IELTS writing. The other ones, they don't really have a place, because an imperative sentence, it's not for academic writing. Interrogative sentence, you won't need to interrogate or ask anybody anything. An exclamatory sentence, this is too informal. It's not something we need in IELTS. The last part, yeah, this is a complex sentence. This is a conditional. When
oh yeah, I was going to ask you about the comma, the comma thing. Do they like take off marks if the comma is not in its place or something?
Yes, they will.
Really?
Of course, they will penalize you, because this means you haven't used the structure correctly. It means you don't understand it well, or it means you're using it by memory. You're just memorizing and using, and they don't want this. It shows lack of control and lack of comprehension. It means you don't really understand what you're doing when you don't use a comma, because it's a main part of the structure or the rule. So you have to use it. This is the idea. And you need to know when to use it and when you don't need to use it. So here, actually, when you use if, an if conditional, you have to use a comma. If da 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 da, comma da 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 da. But if you switch if with provided that or providing that, there's no comma anymore. Do you get the idea? So if you're going to use provided that or providing that, and you use a comma, it means you didn't really get the point. So
exactly.
you need to pay attention to the commas. And they're crucial in defining and non-defining relative clauses. Because if it's a non-defining and you don't use a comma, you've made it into a defining. Do you get the idea? The only thing that separates it is the commas and the meaning. So you'll ruin it if you don't know how to use the commas. Okay, so we talked about this. And of course, there are other types of complex sentences. They're not really, they're good if you really want to sort of boost your grammar, like the compound sentence, where you have two independent clauses, independent and independent, like this one.
Are they used a lot? Do you think
I don't think they're used so much, but the idea is you never know when you need them. Sometimes there's you're expressing some kind of idea and it can be expressed in this way. Why not express it in this way? This is the idea. So think of these as weapons that you might not need to use, but if you have to, it would be good to be loaded. To get the idea. So that's the whole point of these.
Yes.
It's a violent metaphor, but we live in a violent country, so it makes sense.
It is indeed. Yeah.
Okay, so a compound complex. Okay, so this one is a little complicated. So here you have two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause, right? So look at this. I stopped believing in Santa Claus. So this is your independent clause. When he asked me for my autograph in a department store, but I still want to believe him. So the two parts in gray, these are your independent clauses.
But like that gives like kind of two opinions. Like I stopped believing in Santa Claus, and then I still want to believe in him. So it's like not giving a clear statement of your.
Here we don't really care what's in the sentence. What I'm looking for is the form of the sentence. So what I'm seeing is here I have independent, here I have independent. This, the yellow part here, I'm going to mark it yellow. This, the yellow is dependent. Do you get the idea? What you write in that is not our issue now.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you have to write something like this. No, this is just.
I know.
No. This is just the point that in this example, this sentence is, and believe it or not, this whole thing is a sentence. It's one sentence because there's only one full stop at the end. So you can use commas in the same sentence, of course. Okay. Now, what's really important is how you can write a complex sentence. So you can see from the beginning, from the start, they're telling you that relative clauses is your sort of the easiest way you can start with a complex sentence. It's not difficult. You'll find yourself using them more than once. So if you master them, you've already guaranteed your bare minimum of one complex sentence in a paragraph at least. Take a look at these two sentences. Now these two sentences are disconnected. Air pollution can cause health problems. Air pollution is largely caused by motor vehicles. So why not sort of connect them, improve our grammar and improve our cohesion at the same time. So we can use this air pollution, comma, which is mostly caused by motor vehicles, comma, can cause health problems. Do you see the idea? This is a complex sentence because we use the relative pronoun which.
Yep.
And we combine two ideas or two sentences. We've made them into one complex sentence. Okay?
Yep.
The same thing here. Look at these two sentences. There is evidence that some people are more likely to smoke, full stop. These people have parents and friends who smoke, full stop. So why not just combine it? There is evidence that people who have parents and friends that smoke are more likely. Here we can even change this to who smoke are more likely to smoke. So we didn't even need to use a comma here. Maybe this is not the best complex sentence, but it's still considered from a grammatical point of view a complex sentence. So this means relative clauses, you need to know how to use them. Very, very important. Second thing, subordinate clauses, these are mixed with the ones you saw in the table. Providing, provided, although. So these include conjunctions which are used for contrast, conjunctions which are used for conditionals, conjunctions which are used for results. All right, so there are all kinds of conjunctions, like the ones here in the table, the ones we just passed. Where are they? Let's have a very quick look. Rather than, so that. So that, this is a result conjunction. You need to write the result after it. Another one. Unless is another conditional. So they're just telling you that you can make subordinate clauses using these conjunctions, okay? Then you have the conditionals, the ones we were just talking about, the if clauses, okay? Now with conditionals, I think they're going to, okay. So let's read this little part about conditionals. Okay, I think you know what they're used for, not important. I'd be happy if these are all informal. Okay, now this is in context. This is good. If the cost of organic food proves prohibitively expensive for most people, they will simply not buy it. Despite this, people in many developed countries, where the problem is most acute, can afford price hikes and will continue to eat high-fat meals. Do you see how interesting the sentence is? And it's a very good model paragraph, because here you have our main idea. Do you see this? Very clear. All right. Then all of this is your support. So let's change the color. Let's analyze this paragraph. Use it sort of. Maybe gray is not the best one. It's a little too dark. Let's see. Too shiny. Too dark. Let's use this one. It's a little too bright, but okay. So all of this is your support. Now let's look for a complex sentence. Now this is an example of a complex sentence, and let's mark the complex sentences in red. This is a complex sentence. And this is a complex sentence. Do you see this?
So the main idea is being cut.
The main idea is always, it's preferable to be in the beginning, the main idea. It's always better to put it at the start. Everything else in this paragraph, it all relates to your main idea.
Yep.
Do you get the idea?
Green. Did you do anything else?
The green part isn't would pass on the tax in the form of higher tax, and this would lead people not being able to afford junk food. This isn't a complex sentence, so I think it's a regular one, because he used and. He didn't use any of these, but you don't need to. Not every sentence needs to be a complex sentence, because the next two are complex. And you have a combination. He used a contrast. Despite this, people in many developed countries where the problem is most acute. So it's like a complex and complex, this one, because where the problem is acute, this is a relative clause. This is non-defining. So you can remove this part where the problem is more acute, and you can just say, despite this, many people in developed countries can afford price hikes and continue to eat expensive meals, high-fat meals. Do you get the idea?
Yes.
So this is a good model answer for almost everything, actually. The way it's written, the vocab range, your lexical resources. So this is a good sentence, a good paragraph. This is a very good paragraph. Okay, now we don't need to go too long here. To be honest, conditionals, they're not, you can use them, but I feel that
Well,
I feel that
they're not strong enough.
No, they're good enough, but they don't come up as often as ones which are with the contrast. Like although, however, when you talk about different size, because remember, comparing is your sort of points. Is the point of most IELTS task 2 writing. It's more important for them that you compare different ideas. So maybe you'll find yourself using more contrast words. It says you can a compound sentence. Yeah, exactly. This is the compound sentence, this one. The first one. No, sorry, not this one, this one. It's a compound sentence because he linked, the writer, let's change this. The writer linked the two sentences here using and. So two independent sentences were linked using and. So it's not a complex sentence, it's a compound sentence. See this?
Yes.
So the first sentence, this is an independent clause, an independent sentence. Fast food companies would pass on these taxes to consumers in the form of higher prices. Full stop. So if you stop, this is a complete sentence, an independent clause. This would lead people not being able. This would lead to people not being able to afford junk food. Maybe the second one might be.
Doesn't make sense.
But no, the second one is. I think it's an independent clause. The second one. Because on its own doesn't make sense. This would lead people not being able to afford. This would lead to people not being able to afford junk food because this sentence doesn't stand alone. So this is a mix of independent and dependent, this one. But and was the sort of glue that connected it. Most people say and is a bad connecting word, but not all the time. If you use it naturally, not too often, I think it's okay, no problem. All right, so this is about compound sentences. So compound sentences can be used by making two independent clauses linked together with conjunctions such as and, for, or but. But seems to be common, and she really did well on her IELTS test. So this one you can clearly see the first part is independent. She got to the test center early, full stop. She did really well on her IELTS test, full stop. So even if you separate it, it still makes sense. It's two independent sentences. This is the idea. Okay, so this was on grammatical accuracy. So if you really want to boost your grammatical accuracy, descriptive, you need to use complex sentences and you need to use them correctly, okay? So now let's go back a little bit to, if you remember, we talked about the different types of question. So let's go back there. Let's talk a little bit about the different types of questions we have. And not this one, the one about planning. All right. So here we want to look at the types of essay, okay? So you have opinion essays, do you agree or disagree? You have advantages, disadvantages essay, problem and solution. we have discussion, discuss both views. The example we had here, remember the one about extended life expectancy? Do you remember this one? This one was, I think, more of a discussion
Opinion?
question.
Oh, okay.
Because they wanted us to cover both questions, if you remember. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? So you should have a position, but at the same time you need to discuss both views. And it actually mentioned this. It says here, where is it? No, not this one. In the beginning, he mentioned that if we don't cover both parts, we will miss on some of the task achievement requirements. Here it is. No, not this one.
The last sentence, if
Yes,
you just discuss it.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's the relevant
answer
part.
the question correctly.
Yes, because it's closer to a discussion question than advantages and just disadvantages. Because if they ask you advantages, disadvantages, they won't ask you outweigh usually. So this is more of a discussion question. But I think even if it's an advantage disadvantage type, if it's this type, advantage disadvantage,
I think it can be both.
yeah, it would be a good idea to at least talk about the other side a bit, or at least why the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. You need to mention them, at least mention. I think this is what we really need to do with this kind of question. Okay, but now let's have a look at these. Let's see model answers of these kinds of questions, and let's try to classify the questions we have in our mock book. Let's try to classify them into these 5 types. Okay, so first of all, let's go to our mock test book. It's here.
So do you remember what your task 2 was about?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't remember. I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, that I got 7.5. But considering that I really didn't know any of this, I had no idea about all of this back then. I didn't know task achievement.
I think it's good because it's your first time, right? It was your first time.
It was my first time, but in addition to this, I didn't know any of these descriptors. I didn't know how they marked the writing. I didn't know any of this. You get the idea? It was just sort of. I just wrote naturally. That's what I think. Of course, I did get help from the examiner I told you about last time. She definitely helped clear out a few things, but still, she never really told me about all of this stuff. Grammatical accuracy, cohesion, coherence, blah, blah. I didn't know any of this until after the exam. So, okay, so these are samples, but we don't want to see the samples just yet. I think I want to see, just a second. I think it's on the flash drive. Here it is. No. Do you have the mock test book with you? Or is it?
Just a minute.
Okay, here it is. So we want to check the mock test book and want to classify the questions we have and sort of come up with good ideas. We'll try to do them orally. I know it doesn't make sense, but we're slowly easing in. Writing task 2, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. Okay.
Which book did you say it was? The objective?
No, not the object. Here, this one. All right. Do you see this book? Do you see this question?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read it?
Okay. Write about the following topic. Some people say that the best way to improve public health is by increasing the number of sports facilities. Others, however, say that this would have little effect on public health and that other measures are required. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words.
Okay, so let's our first job, let's classify, let's follow the steps. Let's try to be methodical. Let's try to follow the method we just learned. So the method, first of all, let's classify what question is this? What type of essay is this?
I think it's agree or it's opinion.
Okay, let's take a look at it again.
Okay.
Read only the part in the box.
In the box, okay. Some people say that the best way to improve public health is by increasing the number of sports. Others, however, say that this would have an effect on public health. That other measures are required. No, it's like advantages and disadvantages. I don't know, between agree and disagree. There's like two opinions in the, like some people say and the others say.
Okay, take another look.
Okay, let's go back because it's solution, problem and solution. Okay. Or it's discussion about both views. Okay, I'm getting like mixed up right now.
That's it. It's what does the remember the three things in analysis, the analyzing part, right? What are the three things we need to pay attention to? Topic words, micro-topic words, instruction words. The instruction words, this is relevant to the type of essay, right? Because if you understand the instruction words, you understand what type of essay it is. Because if you don't understand the question word, you don't know what type of essay it is. You don't know what you're going to write. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
So this one is clearly, it's clearly a discussion, discuss both views. It's sort of obvious here. Let's mark it. Discuss both views. Do you see this? So discuss both views. This is already our instruction. Okay. So we found our instruction words. So this is one part of the planning done. Okay. Instruction words found. Now, and with a discussion question. Good. Now let's go to the next part of our planning. So we need to look for the topic words and the micro-topic words. What are the topic words and what are the micro-topic words in this question? Take your time. Don't spit out your answers.
I will this time. Okay.
And remember the difference between the topic word. The topic word is the general theme of the question, but the micro topic word is where what you're going to be talking about. So there's a bit of a difference. So remember, we're not talking about the car. We're only talking about the tires of the car. Always remember this analogy.
The topic word is increasing the number of sport facilities. It's a way to improve public health.
Okay, what's the micro-topic word?
The measures required.
Remember here we have two micro-topic words. Do you know why? Because we need to discuss both of these views. So in this question, because we have two views, so this means we have two micro-topic words, not one. Do you get the idea?
Yes.
I'm not saying what you said is wrong. I'm just saying.
Okay. The micro-topic word, the effect of increasing the number of sport facilities on public health.
What's this?
Okay. Micro-topic word.
Correct. So to be more precise is this part, increasing the number of sports facilities. This is your micro topic. We want to know what's the effect of this. So so this is our first micro topic word. The effect of increasing the number of sports facilities. Do they really improve public health or not? This is our first micro topic word or phrase. Let's be more general. What about the second one?
The other measures required.
That's it.
Yeah.
The other measures. So these are the two things you'll be talking about. And these are relevant to the main topic, which is, what's the main topic or the main topic word? What is it? What do you think it is?
Improving public health.
Public health. Improving public health. So if you just speak about improving public health randomly or generally, this is a big problem, of course, because they don't want you to talk about public health generally. They don't want you to talk about just improving public health with any general means. What they want you to really talk about is, does increasing the number of sports facilities, does this improve public health or not? How? Why? You need to talk about this. And the other ones, if you don't think it does, explain what other things do. Whether you agree or whether you disagree, you need to also talk about other measures. So this means now our next part in the planning, since we've identified the instruction word, which is discuss both views, we've identified the topic word or the topic phrases, we've identified the micro-topic words or the micro-topic phrases. Now we need to plan our essay. Now we need to generate ideas. So the next step, if we go back to our little list of planning, we need to plan. Now let's leave the introduction for now. Let's leave the conclusion, because the brainstorming or idea generation, it has to be in these two parts. This is together, these two, they are called the body of the article or the body of the essay. Body 1, body 2, supporting paragraph 1, supporting paragraph 2. So what you need to do here, what you need to have is you need to have one good, fat main idea plus support. The fatter, the better, because this will help you, plus supporting ideas. Of course, in your and the same thing here, you need a good main idea plus good supporting ideas. The only thing we can do now in the introduction is position. We need to put a position, because this is a question where your opinion or position is required. So let's go back to the question and let's try to
rephrase.
Sort of, yeah. Okay, so here it is. So what's our opinion? Can we improve public health by increasing number of sports facilities? Do you think this is true, or do you think? Are you with the first opinion or the second?
Yes, I think I'm with the first opinion.
All right, so we're with the first opinion. Let's go back. So this means, let's write it here. So yes, this is our position, and I'm just going to write it in informal, random. Yes, sports facilities improve public. All right. So what do you need in these two? Since we identified the micro topic words, remember the micro topic words, the first one is sports facilities. Where is it? Increasing sports facilities, increasing the number of sports facilities improves public health. This is our first micro topic idea. And other measures is our second. Let's write it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the ideas you need to cover, or you need to be relevant to this. So
so I'd be talking in paragraph 1 about how increasing the number of
correct. How or why or after how many years, or other questions in your mind. What else? How can you break it down? Any other kind of question in mind is a good question. Who's responsible for building them? If there's a person or a ministry or whatever. So you need to keep these questions floating in your mind, and then you need to tie it with increasing facilities, sport facilities, of course. Sport facilities equals, because this is your opinion, right?
Yes.
So any main idea you bring up needs to cover this. And you can't just start your main idea by saying it's a known fact, or for example, increasing sports facilities improves health, full stop. Because here you're just repeating your position. To get the idea, we don't want to repeat our position.
Mm-hmm. So I don't mention it. I just.
You've already mentioned it. You've already mentioned it in your introduction.
Yeah.
But you need to mention how, why, what's the mechanism. You need to think of some good original idea of how or why increasing sports facilities improve health. Give me an idea.
Well, like building sports facilities and playgrounds for the public. So like it'll be easy for everyone to use. I don't know.
Okay, let's say that's your idea. What's the relevant? What's the relevance of this idea to improving public health?
So like if it's built up in the playground for the public, for different ages, for different age groups will be using, like if it's like for children or for older age, it will help in decreasing chronic diseases for the elderly, and maybe I'll be talking about other disease, maybe for the like obesity or.
Okay, you're getting there. Yes, you're getting there. You're mixing a little bit. You're mixing supporting and main, but you're on the right track. But you need something which is sort of an umbrella idea or an umbrella term which could cover all of the above, all of what you mentioned. What happens in the sports facilities, or what's Or what are they built for? What's the point of building them? Or what's the function? Why build a sports facility at all? What's the point?
So to encourage people in sports and moving and
that's it. Okay.
Doing some daily activity.
Physical activity.
Physical activity.
Okay, good. So now we're getting there. So you need to connect physical activity. You need to connect it with improved public health. And put it in one sentence. And then you can go through all those nice details, the playground, accessibility, chronic disease for elderly, decreasing infant obesity, infant diabetes. You can talk as much as you want in detail, but first you need to give me one good main idea which connects physical activity, connects this to improved public health.
Not easy.
You see, it's like obvious, but not obvious. You get the idea.
I know. Yes. I could take ages, so I don't know. I don't want to.
Okay, we can try something like this.
Increasing physical activity.
Good.
Wait, no.
No, this is a good start. Finish it.
Okay, increasing physical activity generally leads to maintaining the health. I don't know, but it just doesn't want to come. It's okay. Increasing physical activity leads to.
What's the effect of sport? What does it do to the body and to the mind?
What, like increases the? No, I don't want to use increase again, so or decrease or whatever. There has to be some kind of word. I'm looking for it. Increasing politically. Yeah.
Do you see the importance of reading nonfiction?
Yes, I know. I wasn't reading about health, so if I knew it was something to do with this, I don't. Increasing physical activity.
It doesn't need to be super medical, by the way. Don't. Okay. You shouldn't. By the way, this is a negative. Don't use jargon. Don't use medical jargon. If it's a medical topic like this or a health-related topic, avoid jargon. Use general academic English.
Okay, increasing physical activity helps in maintaining the mind and body's not health, maintaining a balance. Like this. I'm trying to find something. It's just.
This is a good. It's a little. It's okay.
Mental and
Go ahead. Make it more interesting. Mental.
Yeah, a balanced mental and.
A synonym for fit body.
Social or other. No wait.
But you can add the social aspect. But let's make it the third one. So I want mental I want a synonym for body and then social.
Synonym for body.
Starts with PH. Something for physical.
Not psychological. It's physical, right?
Physiological. So we're talking about your
the
function of your body.
Yeah.
So
yes.
So physiological and social. Maybe maintains is not the best. Maybe leads is better. Your first verb.
Okay.
Leads to a balanced mental, physiological, and social state. Or you can even say leads to, if we don't want to use a, we can just say leads to balanced mental, social, and social
living
well-being, maybe.
Well-being, yes.
This is a very, very good main idea. You know why? Because you can talk. This is an example of a fat main idea. But keep in mind, since you mentioned these three aspects, you need to cover these three aspects.
Okay.
If you think you can't cover them in one paragraph,
yeah.
Maybe you can
just go
remove
for the mental and physiological, and
yeah.
not go social.
Yeah, but I think you should be able to talk about it. You know why? Because if you have 250 words, at least 150 words should be in supporting paragraph 1 and 2. You get the idea? Because the introduction and conclusion are usually not longer than 50 words. So 50 in the introduction, 50 in the conclusion. So if you've used 100 words, you still have 150 other words. And these should be in the body of the article. These should be in supporting paragraph 1 and 2. So this means you have up to, let's say, 75 words per paragraph. So you might need to use it. But for now, let's leave it, since we've got a good main idea. The support can come. Let's think of another good main idea for the second topic, the second micro topic words, the ones about other measures. Here, by the way, you need to discuss the other measures in a way to demonstrate that they're not, you need to connect it to this, basically. Since they forced you to talk about other measures, how are you going to talk about them? Positively or negatively?
Maybe negatively?
Yes, you should talk about them negatively. Because you're advocating, you're supporting the
supporting your idea, yeah. That's the main.
No, I mean you're supporting the idea of increasing the number of sports facilities.
Yes.
So imagine yourself as a contractor or a leading public health official, and you're going to the Ministry of Infrastructure or Ministry of Planning, and you're telling them we need more sports facilities. So maybe one of them will argue, no, there are other measures, and he'll start naming other measures. So you need to have a good written argument to sort of counter his argument, to tell him, no, the other measures, I know about them, 1, 2, 3, nah, they're not as good as increasing physical activity. So you'll need to mention them, but you need to mention them by saying they're risky, they're not good for the body, they're not good for the mind, they're negative, so they have many social or psychological or whatever consequences. To get the idea.
Yes.
So let's talk about other ways or other measures of how people improve their or want to improve public health, what are the other things people usually do, or governments do, or individuals do? And let's try to connect it.
Help. That's like.
What do obese people do?
Eat fast food.
No, I mean not what made them obese, when they don't want to be obese anymore.
What? They go on a diet.
Okay.
Using,
so they go on a diet, they increase their physical activity, right?
Yes.
So this is all in in the first paragraph. I want other measures. Other measures.
I'm trying to.
What other things that obese people do to not be obese anymore? That doesn't include exercise and doesn't include a diet.
Plastic surgery.
Ta-da! Okay. So here we have one measure that many individuals are tempted to do because they're not increasing their physical activity. It's true they're not obese anymore after all that plastic surgery and liposuction and whatnot. But is this really good for them? Is this good on the long run? Is this good for the government? Is this good for the public? You get the idea. This is one of the measures. We need more. So I want you to think on this line, something that people might do or governments might do to improve public health, which are not very good, which are not as good as making people do exercise. Okay, so we covered the physiological problem of obesity. What about mental problems? How do people deal with mental problems? You could deal with them like you advocated with increased exercise. This is one good way. What are the other ways people deal with psychological and mental problems?
No, I didn't quite get it. Why am I going to put that in the other measures? If I'm going to talk about it in a good way,
bad way. You're going to talk about them in a bad way. Because in a good way, we agreed that physical activity and increased number of sports facilities is going to help you mentally. But what are the other measures people resort to, or public health officials resort to improve the psychological welfare, physical welfare, social welfare of their people? What are the other things other than exercise, other measures? So we mentioned obese people do plastic surgery. What about troubled people?
Going to drugs.
Drugs? That's it? Pharmaceuticals. This is also a measure to improve physical health and psychological health, right? So someone who is fat and obese can either go on a diet and start exercising or go to plastic surgery. So someone who's having maybe stage 1 hypertension can start taking antihypertensives or can lose weight and start exercising. He might not need the antihypertensives anymore. Do you get the idea?
Yes.
Someone who has mild depression can just go to a shrink and start taking Prozac and benzodiazepines, or he can start doing exercise. Join a football team. Do yoga, I don't know, lift weights or do something to improve his mood. Do you get the idea? So you're trying to disparage everything that's not exercise. Any way to improve health that's not exercise, you're against it, but you need to mention it. That's the problem with this kind of essay. You need to mention even the part that you don't disagree with. And it has to take a full paragraph, because the question, the instruction word clearly emphasized both views.
So I have to talk about them equally, so not like...
Equally. Your position is clear from the introduction, from the get-go. We know that you're with sports facilities. And the way you're going to mention the other measures will confirm this to the reader, but you still need to mention them.
Yeah.
So how can we make a good main idea which can explain in detail some of the ideas we came up with?
About the other measures, right?
Yeah, the measures which aren't as good as exercise, of course. And you need to sort of mention they're not as good as exercise in the main idea. Maybe you don't need to mention the measures themselves, but you could just say they're not as good as exercise in a way that you can leave yourself space to talk about them in detail. You need to make sure that your main idea doesn't ruin it for the support. You get the idea? So it should be something like the main idea you had in the first paragraph, but in reverse, in a way.
Like, I don't know how to put it.
So you need to say, because all the things we talked about, all of it was support, by the way. Obese people having plastic surgery, people under, for example, mild chronic diseases.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start like this. Like other measures, or no. Wait. I wouldn't start like this.
Okay, let's start with other measures. Or if we want to be more specific, what kind of measures are they?
So like I have to name them?
No, don't name them. But in what category are they? And we don't need to use the word measures. You don't need to use it.
Okay. I don't know. Come on, help me. You're just listening to. So other facilities? No, I can't.
Other what?
I said facilities. No.
Okay. Let's say other. What are they? Are they exercise facilities?
No, I'm not.
So they're
Other. Health facilities or not? Wait.
Okay. Other. Let's call them non-exercise health facilities. Okay. What about them? What? And here in this category, we want to include centers which treat mild chronic diseases, which are preventable, like I said, hypertension, diabetes, especially in its early stage, the impaired glucose. What is it called? Impaired glucose tolerance? Is it impaired insulin?
Test. Yes. Yes.
What is it?
No, I mean, yes, it is impaired glucose tolerance.
Yeah, in the beginning, yeah, where it's not yet diabetes, but it's sort of in this gray area, everybody, I mean, every doctor knows exercise usually can reverse this. But most people don't care. They start taking the oral, I forgot what it's called, the other one. Libyans chew it like Mentos. Anyways, that one. So you could avoid that by just exercising, and you can reverse, in most cases, not all cases, but you can reverse the need for taking oral anti. What's the category? Anti-dia. I forgot the category. Okay, so all of them are in this group.
You don't have to be specific, right? You don't have to like.
In the support, you can be a bit specific. You can name examples. It's actually good too, but this is in the support, not in the main idea. So we can say other non-exercise facilities
or measures. Why don't we use measures? Why are you?
We can use, but you know why we don't want to use measures? We want to use synonyms. We don't want to. We'd rather not use the same words in the question.
I don't know. It's not easy. It's time consuming.
Okay, I'll show you. This one, we can start it with right, the costs do not physical component and better than half. Lead to poorer results and so maybe we can rephrase it a little better, but I think it's general enough to include all the ideas we just thought of. So we can say, for example, the health facilities that do not include results or methods or treatments or therapeutic we can use therapeutic measures.
You're using measures.
Yeah, I'm using it because it goes well here. Measures, and we can just remove health facilities. Not physical components too general. Don't include exercise. That don't include exercise and lead to major physiological What do you think of this? It's a bit better, I think. therapeutic measures that do not include exercise. Do you get the idea? I'm just looking for something general enough to include all those ideas. All right. Now let's talk about in detail. Let's talk about. I think we need another word and file. And in this one, we want to write our support. Okay, so let's write the supporting sentences we want to write the supporting sentences to this part, to increasing physical activity. So this means your first paragraph, the first part, you should start by saying increasing physical activity leads to or balanced state of mental, physiological, and social well-being. This is a little better rephrase. Okay, now let's talk in detail. How? Why? After how many years? What are the physiological benefits? What are the social, and what are the mental ones? Let's start with mental.
Okay. Mental. It'll improve one's mental health by letting individuals participate and engage in activities that.
Okay, don't give me random ideas. You need to phrase the whole sentence. We already know the ideas. We need to put them in words in a well-written sentence. And if we can, we need to put it in a complex sentence. We need to also make sure our coherence is good. So this means we need at least, remember, every good paragraph should have about 5 to 6 sentences. But in the sentence itself, there are parts, there are commas, there are conjunctions, there's relative pronouns. So these 5 sentences could be a mix of, say, 3 or 4 complex sentences and maybe 1 simple one. Do you get the idea?
Yes.
So it sounds short when you say 5 sentences, but it's not short. You can fill a paragraph with 5, 6 good sentences. But this is usually the limit, not more. And everything you're going to think of has to revolve around this written sentence. You cannot talk about anything else. It has to revolve around mental, physiological, and social well-being as a result of exercise. So you need to tell me how, why, when, who, these kind of questions in relation between increasing physical exercise and the balanced state. So the simplest question would be, how does increasing physical activity lead to a balanced mental state? How does increasing physical activity lead to a balanced physiological state? And how does physical activity lead to a balanced social state? How? Why? Examples, studies, even imaginary, and some medical information.
So I'm gonna have to use the complex sentence, okay?
Preferably. Yeah. But don't think don't think primarily in grammatical terms. Think of the idea first. Just the raw idea. What is your raw idea you want to use?
Okay, so like if I'm talking about mental, can I talk about like two diseases? Because you said don't go into medical, don't
No,
get deep into medical.
you can, but I mean the way you talk about it, not the nature of your idea. Your ideas can be medical, but they shouldn't be in medical terminology. This is the idea.
Okay, regular exercise can have a positive impact on depression or on anxiety.
On what and what?
On depression and anxiety.
Okay, good. How?
By relieving stress, improving one's sleep pattern. I'm trying to think of.
This is good. This is excellent. Okay, but let's make it a little formalish by saying studies have shown. Right. So, and tell me your ideas.
Regular exercise can. Okay, so studies have shown that regular exercise can have a positive impact on depression and anxiety by relieving stress, improving the sleep pattern.
The first one, positive impact on?
Impact on depression and anxiety. And
which? Let's use which.
Which are reduced. Which are reduced by relieving stress.
By the decreased levels of stress, hormones, and the one about
boosting
sleep.
The overall mood.
And
boosting your mood in a good way. Boosting your overall mood.
Mood. Full stop. This is a complex sentence. Okay. All right. And this one we covered. And this is not so bad. I think we're in the 30 words count. Very nice. 43. Good. Now we want another nice sentence. It doesn't have to be as long, but about the physiological well-being.
Physiological.
So we can say, in addition to this, now talk about the physiological well-being or physiological benefits. Okay, give me ideas.
Yeah. Improving one's figure. No, wait.
So how does exercise improve the physiological state? Come on.
Well, what? The weight, maintaining good weight, a healthy weight, lowering the blood sugar. I don't know.
That's it. Very good.
Maintaining a healthy weight and lowering blood sugar. I'm using medical words though.
No, these are not. Blood sugar it's not medical.
Burning calories. Okay.
Yeah, because this is maintaining a healthy body mass, I think.
Okay.
Which results in lower risk of not getting, I want another word for diabetes. For, can you think of another word?
That was what results in low risk of
becoming diabetic. Just lower risk.
No.
We don't want becoming. What do we call diseases when getting a disease? Other
chronic diseases.
Not chronic. No, I'm not the classification of disease. Getting the
okay.
disease.
Okay.
Of lower risk of let's say, just say becoming diabetic.
There's a word though. There's
There
some
is.
kind of word.
But these things are usually lost in tests. Lower, just in lower risk. No risk is not clear. Okay. Now, last point. Social.
Like
leads to maintaining is a little weird. Helps maintain is better. Okay, so yeah, what's your point? The social.
I don't know. Social, like there's a support from families, friends. I don't know how from the
No, remember
community.
we're talking about sports facilities. So think of people together in a gym. Think of teammates, teams.
Yes. Teamwork.
But how are you going to start the sentence?
Okay, we started the other one, like in addition to this exercise helped me.
You can start, you can say finally, because this is the last point in the paragraph.
Okay. Finally, we're working out together in a group.
To raise. What's the word I'm looking for? The one about
benefits. Benefits
no, I'm looking for the word which means compliance. Compliance and ensures continuous, maybe better. Continuous and regular exercise as opposed to working out individually or working out alone. It's an imaginary one. So here I'm just saying working out together, but you can use a social aspect. Maybe you can say the friends you meet in a social setting, right? Or maybe you can say finally working together in a group, has been found to improve relationships,
or encourage.
Or encourage has been found to encourage the development of healthy relationships with like-minded needs to be with a like-minded, fit and active individuals which in turn leads to, this is a little too long to be honest for one paragraph.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, because we're almost 90 in one paragraph, so it's not a very good to encourage the development of
So maybe we shouldn't talk about the social?
Well, like this is okay. Yeah, maybe you should, maybe we shouldn't. You know why? Because you need to balance. Now, like this, it's okay. Here it's good. It's only 85 words. Do you see?
Okay. Yes.
So it's
so how many words?
We're good. And because if we don't have social, we need to sort of expand a little more with the mental and the physiological. But you need to balance this, because it might be better to talk about two things in more detail, more support, than doing what we just did now. To get the idea. So to be more precise, maybe we can take off this and take off social and give more details now. We can expand a little bit. But mental and physiological well-being. So let's expand a little more here. Okay. So which are reduced by levels of stress hormones and improving enrollment. In addition to this, so let's add something else. Which are reduced by levels of hormones. Many individuals have found that strenuous exercise is a natural, or scientists have found, always use authority in academic English.
Scientists or like studies?
Yeah, studies, scientists. Maybe we did it too much here, but you can say it has been found, use passive also. Has been found that strenuous exercise has a similar effect to similar anxiolytic effect. Maybe anxiolytic is too medical. Similar effect to mild anti-anxiety medication. So we added a point, has also been found, overall mood. Okay, this we don't, it's too long, we can't connect it. In addition to this exercise, and hypertensive. Most even like this, it's okay. We've reached 85 words. Maybe we've talked a little more about a little more about mental than physical, but still, it's good. Even the physical, we just didn't explain it as much, but we did. We talked about healthy body mass, lowering blood sugar, and low risk of becoming, we can add cancer, and lower risks of diabetes, or
just disease in general. I don't know.
But no, don't talk generally. Always be specific in writing. Okay. Of lower risk of diabetes, hypertension. It's better to say high blood pressure. High blood pressure and cancer. This is really nice. Okay. So in this first paragraph, you've connected the idea of increased physical activity to all the benefits. So in other words, you're supporting this paragraph is in total harmony with your position, which is this: sports facilities improve public health. Because in sports facilities, you're going to get all these wonderful, beautiful results. Do you get the idea? Do you get how the logic works?
Yes.
Okay, we have enough time to do the next one because we started late. So let's do the next one. So do you see this one? Therapeutic measures that do not include exercise can lead to major complications. We're going to talk about overdosing, addiction to
using drug, using prescribed
prescribed drugs, prescribed medication, especially the stuff they use in psychological wards. Very addictive stuff, benzodiazepines, Prozac, antidepressants, We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the problems of plastic surgery, and it leads to more mental anguish, more mental problems. That syndrome, what is it called? Body dysmorphic syndrome. You can talk about these problems, eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia, but talk about them in more sort of general terms. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's include these in another text. All right, let's start our paragraph. We can connect that paragraph. So the one we were just writing, this one, we can start our next one by saying, on the other hand, and we can write this: therapeutic measures that do not, you shouldn't use contractions, of course, in writing, that do not include exercise. When there is exercise, no, can lead to major complications and poorer overall public health. Maybe overall is not necessary for public health. Major complication and poor health. Poor health benefits, I don't like it very much. Poor health, maybe not benefits, and just poorer health, better than benefits. Okay, so how are you going to phrase it? Whenever you're stuck, you can always rely on first, second, last when you're stating supporting ideas. You can use this. It's a little cheesy, but it's sometimes done.
So like firstly,
You can say firstly.
There's I'm going to talk about plastic surgery, maybe.
Okay.
So how can I say that? There's am I gonna?
You can be interesting and use present perfect. There has been an increase in plastic surgery, such as liposuction, especially plastic surgery related to obesity. We don't want the other stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say that there was like we already said studies, so maybe like evidence that women tend to, or females, women, are more likely to tend to do plastic surgery for cosmetic reasons, for I don't know, or have trying to.
No, cosmetics is not our interest. It's not our specific topic work.
Okay.
It needs to be related to exercise. The benefits that you didn't get from exercise, the ones that we talked about, you're going to try to get these benefits elsewhere. This is what this paragraph is about.
Okay. To enhance their figure.
Okay.
Their overall figure.
Okay, so you can say plastic surgery has become, or the latest statistics show a dramatic increase in plastic surgery that aims at improving physique,
the appearance. Okay.
Improving the appearance and removing excess fat from the body, for example. This what's your idea?
No, I'm trying to connect it with like something mental.
Okay. These patients usually
tend to have to be or have a history of
of mental trouble and
problems.
And body and problems.
Obsession.
Such
figure obsession.
Such as body image diseases, and food disorders. Not to mention addiction to prescription pills and the high cost of psychiatric, it's called psychological consultations. They need Okay, so let's maybe improve this a little bit better to try to zone in on exercise. Okay, I have a better intro. A decrease in the number of sports facilities in urban areas coincides with higher obesity rate. This, which has led to a dramatic increase in plastic surgery that aims at improving the appearance, improving physique, and maybe physique is a little better. Physique and removing excess body. Do you see how I connected sports facilities with plastic surgery?
Yes.
So here, because remember, this is our key word. Exercise. We want to do everything we can to show that if you're going to reap the benefits of exercise in any other way than exercise, you're going to suffer. Any other measure apart from exercise is not a good measure. You get the idea? So this is what I'm trying to work on. You can lead to decreasing the number of sports facilities, high obesity rates, which has led to a dramatic, we don't need this, to a dramatic increase in plastic surgery that aims at improving the physique and removing excess. These patients usually tend to have a history of mental illness. Trouble is not a very good word. Mental complaints. Illness is okay. Illness, mental disorders maybe is the best. Orders. Mental disorders such as body image disease. And no, we already used disorders. This means we need illness. Not to mention
Problems.
Mental problems, mental illness is a little better. Not to mention addiction to prescription pills and the high cost of psychological actions they frequently need.
They
would maybe frequently need, to make it sound really dark, like they really screwed up. Frequently. It's not bad, I think. If we read them together, you can have a sense of a good, sort of a directed essay. So the first one, increasing physical activity leads to a balanced state of mental and physiological well-being. Studies have shown that regular exercise has a positive impact on depression and anxiety, which are reduced by decreasing the level of stress hormones. It's better. By decreasing the levels of stress hormones, resulting in maybe resulting is better instead of and. Resulting in an improved overall mood. It has been also found, this is the importance of rereading, by the way, reviewing what you've written, very, very important.
Yeah.
It has also been found that strenuous exercise has a similar effect to mild anti-anxiety medication. In addition to this, exercise helps maintain a healthy body mass index and lowers blood sugar levels, which results with reduced results. And therefore, let's use therefore. We've used which too much. Therefore, a lower risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, and cancer. And as a result, or therefore, and consequently, it's better.
Consequently.
And consequent, I think it's with a C, consequently, what's it then? Consequently, a lower risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, and cancer. All right, so this one is nice. The next one, let's check it. On the other hand, therapeutic measures that do not include exercise can lead to major complications and poorer health. To major complications. Maybe poorer health.
Or moreover.
Where do you want to use moreover?
However.
Where do you want to use moreover?
No,
moreover is good, like in addition. So we can use moreover in the first one. Moreover.
Someone gave me a tip of using however, moreover.
Yeah. Moreover, here, moreover is good here. Instead of it has also been found that. Moreover, strenuous exercise has been found to have. Strenuous exercise has been found to have. So we can remove that. Moreover, comma, moreover, comma, strenuous exercise has been found to have similar. Good. Moreover works very nice here. All right. A decrease in the number of sports in the urban areas coincides with high obesity rates, which has led to a dramatic surge increase. Is okay. Which has led to a surge. Surge is already means dramatic increase. Surge in plastic surgery, surge in demand for plastic surgery that aims at improving the physique and removing excess fat from the body. These patients usually tend to have a history of mental illness, such as body image disease and food disorders, not to mention addiction to prescription pills, and the high cost of psychological questions of the frequency. This is also okay, I think. All right, do you get the idea of how it sort of works?
Yes, it takes a lot of time. It needs a lot of brainstorming.
It needs a lot of practice. That's the idea. You need to do lots of these. Okay, so your job now. Let me show you, by the way, a sample. Of course, I'll send it to you because since we're out of time now. But I'm going to send you a sample of a discussion question. So a question similar to the one we did. And I'm going to send you a sample. So I'd like you to read it. And then you can let me know what you think about it. Hopefully next lesson we'll do another one. And this process, once we cover all the essay types, you'll sort of get a hang of it. You'll get how it works. It feels less awkward. and you start brainstorming a little faster, and you start also organizing your ideas a little better. So it's just a matter of a little more practice, I think, and you'll get there. Okay? So maybe next lesson I'll also talk a little more detail about conclusions and introductions. But I think it will the sample answer I'm going to send you, this will also help clarify a little bit the introduction and the conclusion. Okay?
Okay.
All right then. So so thanks for today.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right then. I'll see you next time.
Yes. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.